Hello, and welcome to all new and returning viewers to episode 19 of the Herwoodian Crafter podcast. I'm Jutta. I'm coming to you from Tampere, Finland, and this is my podcast about knitting and sewing and all kinds of crafting. It's been ages since I last recorded anything. Well, no, since I last uploaded anything. I did record an episode 19 some weeks ago, but never got around to editing and uploading it, so I'm re-recording what I covered in that piece and adding the few bits and pieces I've gotten done since then. I still want to have a more regular updates, but since the last episode, things like visiting mums and second wisdom tooth removals and flus and pain all couldn't get it done. Got in the way. But let's jump right in. I got my kid down for a nap about half an hour ago, so I don't know how much time I have before he wakes up again. So we'll see. And as you can probably tell from my voice, I still have the flu, and it's getting a lot better, which is why I'm recording. But if there's weird cuts, it's either that the kid woke up or that I'm having a horrific coughing fit. But yeah, let's dive into it. So I have a few finished objects. First of which you have seen, but not in a while, I think. This is the Leylines shawl by Herwoodian, and I started this during, I think, the summer. And yeah, since the last time I kind of touched this, well, since the last recording, I actually got inspired and just got to knitting on this. So it's finished. I had just, I think, faded the red out and the purple in, so I've gotten somewhere like this much done since I think you've last seen it, which has been quite a while ago. And yeah, it's massive, like I wanted it to be. It's been blocked, and it's just really kind of lovely and massive, and this is my own hand dyed yarn, so that makes it extra special. And the one modification I did with this is that I did the decreases a little bit differently than what was in the pattern. I wanted to use as much of the yarn that I had dyed for this, and I managed to only have something like, I think it was something like 7 grams of the blue yarn left. And basically the only difference is that I think there was something like 3 decreases per 2 rows in the pattern, and what I did was 1 decrease per 2 rows. So basically it would the decreases came at the same pace as the increases in the beginning. But yeah, the only thing that I still need to figure out with this is that this is really kind of, it generates a lot of static electricity, which is not fun with long hair, or with basically any hair. But anyways, I just need to maybe spray some diluted fabric softener or something like that on this. But yeah, it's just gorgeous and big and rainbowy, and just, yeah. It's lovely. And yeah, once I get around to trying things with static electricity. I'm sure I'll be wearing this a lot. Yeah, that's a one. And then there was another finished project that you haven't seen at all because I started this after the last time I recorded. I needed gloves. I'm really kind of feeling fingerless mitts at the moment, but with the Finnish winter, fingerless mittens don't really do it all of the time, so I wanted just plain grey gloves to use underneath the mittens, and I've been using these a lot. And I took the amount of stitches from the Knotty gloves pattern, which I used for my friend's Christmas gift gloves, and I just made a very short rib at the bottom, and I really didn't quite, I think I didn't look at the pattern much at all, except for the amount of stitches to cast on. And I did do a modification on these fingers. As you can see, these are yarn over and knit two togethers, and basically the idea was that I could use my smartphone with the gloves on, and I did try whether it would work when I was knitting on these, but since I've used these, this really isn't the best solution for that. It would be better to just make a hole or something like that. This really, I think it would work if I were to push very hard down on it, so that yarn basically would kind of part more, but it wasn't the best solution. But hey, I tried, and I really think that I might do more gloves in the future, and then I can do that modification better. But these have gotten somewhere. They're good gloves overall, so yeah, really happy with these. Then I have a few new cast on. I really have quite the castonitis at the moment. I really feel like I want to do so many pairs of socks, and I want to cast on cardigans and cowls, and just I want to knit all of the things. But I feel like if I do that, I'll never get anything completed, so I'm kind of holding off on that. But I do have two new ones. First I'll show these ones to you, because these are lovely and really kind of getting done fast. I have already finished one. So since I did the Bubbly sweater for my sister, I had something like Right, so I got him back down, settled down for a little bit more of a... I can't articulate it okay well, but yeah, he went back down to sleep for at least some time, so I can't remember where I left off. But yeah, I was talking about this fingerless mitten, which is an inspiration from the Bubbly sweater I made for as a present for my sister, and these are for her as well. There was something like maybe 150 grams of yarn left, and of course these won't use up all of that, but it will use up some of it. And I have no pattern for these other than that the color work part is from the Bubbly sweater pattern. I just made kind of a calculations on how much how many repeats I would need for this, and then did some math and just started knitting. I am a little bit worried because this is quite a good size for me, but my sister's hands are a little bit bigger than mine, so that's why it's so long. But I'm kind of worried if it's gonna be too tight for her, but I'm gonna block the crap out of these, so I hope they'll be fine. So yeah, I finished the first mitten maybe on Saturday, and then I started on the next one. And this is how much I got the first bubble done. Yeah, this is I do remember that in the Bubbly sweater the color part went really quickly, although it was, I think, something like 3 rows of bubbles, so it wouldn't be that time consuming. But this is quite addictive because one kind of pattern repeat is quite quick. It's only 6 rows. Yeah, 6 rows, and it's easy to memorize, and yeah, it's quite addictive. And then the other new cast on that I've done is a free pattern from Ravelry. The yarn they used was, I think it was Aran weight, but I'm doing this in lace weight. So this is, I'm hoping this will someday be a Bandana Cowl. I think it was the Tin Can Knits that the pattern was from. So I did need to do some math because, of course, lace weight is vastly different from Aran weight. But I have kind of tried this, and this will go over my head, and hopefully it'll be good. I'm using 2mm needles because I want to use up as much as I can from this, because I have, and this is Knitlob's layer Ilmatar yarn. I have 3 skeins of this, all in different colors, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. So I'm hoping that this will be good for this cowl, and maybe the other skein will be something else. And I have no idea how long it will take me to do this because lace weight with small needles. I'm insane. Hello, have you met me? But yeah. Yeah, that's the knitting content I have for you, but I do have some additional sewing content. Let me scroll down for a bit. So yeah, in the last episode I uploaded, I showed you the Taitolehti, which wasn't new anymore, but was new to me, and there was some embroidery content in that, and from that I was kind of inspired to do this. I still don't know exactly what it is, if it's the same word in Finnish and in English, but in directly translated from Finnish to English, we call it a waffle fabric. I'm not sure if it's that in English as well, but there was some embroidery pattern, this one, in the title magazine. So the fabric I'm talking about is this type of fabric, and we have done, I think this kind of a hand towel project was one of my first hand crafts projects in school. We had to do a hand towel in the first grade for ourselves. So we someone else had already sewed them, and then we embroidered them ourselves, whichever way we wanted to. And yeah, so this kind of brought it to mind, but it's vastly different pattern, and I bought a meter of this fabric and I got 4 towels out of it, and I actually almost all of them done. 2 of them are already been used and in the laundry, and then the main idea is basically that I have the tab here, so one towel has that pattern in here, and then it's almost done tab, and that it's in a different corner, and then the 2 that are already in the laundry have the pattern basically in this corner. So basically, if you put all of the towels back together again, kind of side by side in a square, then the pattern will be complete. So it will be kind of a big pattern altogether. I'm not sure if you can get any kind of idea of what I mean by my explanation, but maybe the best way I can kind of describe it is that this is 2 of them, and then the 2 others are basically the same pattern but up here, so in the bottom section of the towels. I probably will, once I get, because the last towel is like this much is missing from it. So once I get them done, and once I wash the 2 other towels in the laundry, I'll probably take a picture and post it on Instagram just to show you, because I think the idea was nice. Then just this weekend I sewed up another project bag for myself. I showed this project bag to you. I'm not sure if it was in the last episode or the one before that, or I have showed this to you before, and I talked about how it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be. It's a little bit floppy, and these are quite even, and I had an idea of how to fix some of those issues, and it's a little bit of a different shape. This more of a longer version, and this is quite a well-rounded cube, but as you can see, this is even, and it's not as floppy. It has more interfacing in it, and it's still actually quite a good-sized bag. I think the mitts that I have in here, so the Bubbly fingerless mitts are in here right now, and I think for now it's only about halfway full, so I could house a larger project. And I'm not sure about, I think maybe the handle could be bigger, maybe a little bit kind of this quite wide, so maybe it would be kind of a little bit, I don't know, thinner. Maybe a little bit smaller and longer, don't know. But yeah, much more happy with this one. I actually have, once again, I have more ideas about how to kind of different kind of project bag. I'm so happy I have so much fabric that I can use for this and try out what I can get done. So yeah, and with from the scraps of that one, I actually made myself a new needle. What is this? I don't know, but these are the needles for sewing. So I sewed this little cube up and filled it up with stuffing. And this is just the idea in the beginning. It came from the fact that I quite like to have my different colored pins in their own groups. So this was kind of a perfect solution for it. And yeah, these were just scraps from that project bag. So hooray, it's fun. and it's big enough that basically I can push the pins all in and it still won't stick out, so I don't need to kind of reinforce any kind of sides on it. Right. Yeah, I really don't have much else to share with you. I'm kind of rushing this because even though I think it might be okay to record something while the kid was awake, but it just doesn't appeal to me, the idea of having to do this while he's awake. So a few more things that I have left are the acquisitions part and the stash busting part. So basically, I have been very good about acquisitions. I bought the fabric, feels like ages ago, but after the last uploaded episode, I bought the fabric, and then one major thing that I forgot to mention last time, the last episode 19, that you haven't seen because this is basically the same content with a little bit extra. But what I forgot to mention in that is that I bought a class to the next US Glass on Fest, and it was funny because I was convinced that they would be selling them out immediately, which isn't the case. I don't think that the class I bought is sold out even now. At least the last time I checked, it wasn't sold out. It was maybe during the last week that I last checked it out. But yeah, I'm going to the, what is it? To Subpetitions, the, what is it? Future double knitting, shaping, decreasing, doing the, well, basically the what he used to call the advanced class. So it has to do with the increases and decreases on double knitting, and I actually have never done double knitting. Basically, I understand the idea, and I think actually I did do some kind of double knitting on one project, but I basically did stripes on a collar, and it's not meshed together like double knitting is properly, because I did the opposing colors when I was knitting on one color, on the other side I did the other color on the other, and so they didn't kind of interlock together. So I need to do some small projects, or try some, maybe do a pattern of his before, at least start the pattern by him before I get to that class, so I know so I actually kind of have some practice in the basics of double knitting. But my thinking was that if they were to sell out, the beginner course would sell out faster, and I was right. The beginner's class was sold out, and the quote unquote advanced class isn't, but it didn't happen as fast as I thought it would. So basically, I could have taken the beginner's class, but I'm actually quite happy with going with the advanced class, because I feel like just because I feel like I have kind of a basic understanding on what the technique is, I just need to kind of practice it a little bit. So that might have been too easy for me. I don't know. That sounds kind of arrogant, but since I do kind of know how it goes, I feel like maybe it's a better idea to go for the advanced or the shaping part of double knitting. And yeah, then I have just a little bit to tell you about the stash busting fun, because for a long time I felt like it wasn't necessary. I was so much in the plus column, so I had bought so much yarn because of a cardigan I'm doing, which I'm trying to save up for a specific kind of the project-centered episodes that I'm kind of hoping to transition into. But yeah, that I bought so much yarn for that it felt really unnecessary to talk about my stash busting efforts. But at the moment, I'm only 385 grams in on my yarn in out of balance, so I thought that would be a nice statistic to kind of tell you. And what I'm particularly proud of is that I have actually knit 815 grams of yarn since November, when I started this from zero after the Handicraft Expo that we had here in Tampere. Well, not all of it is knit, but in kind of yarn crafts, I have used over 800 grams of yarn. I am still aiming to have maybe 1 kilogram out of stash completely before I kind of that's something that I'm aiming for before I don't know what to do with whether it's kind of promising myself to maybe be able to buy more yarn, or if it would be some sort of a pattern book, or I don't know what the reward would be for that, but that's what I'm kind of hoping to achieve, then rewarding myself for it. But yeah, that's actually just about all I have for you. Because of all the teeth removals and flus and visitors, I really haven't felt like doing much, and I still feel like I haven't done a lot considering how long of a time it has been since I last uploaded anything. But yeah, kind of hoping that this would kind of turn the tide and get my crafting mojo back better, and yeah. So yeah, that's about all I have for you this time around. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. My nose is getting stuffy again, so it's better that I sign off. But if you like this episode, I hope you might press the like button, or if you haven't yet, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. But all of that is up to you. I can't control what you do, and I wouldn't want to if I could. Well, who knows. But anyways, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for spending some of your time with me. And until I see you next time, I hope you have a very good time crafting. Bye bye.